Okay, hello, welcome back to another video. Today playing e4, got a fresh trim, I've got some cranberry juice, I'm playing a Mengarini Sicilian. There's not really much more that you can ask for from a chess video. Knight c6 as well, so we get to play the triple exclamation mark move, b4 here. Very, very cool gambit, where I don't think it's got a book name yet. One day it will be called the Will Taylor Chess Gambit. But we will take here, then after the knight captures, we play c3. This is very, very familiar to me. d4, and then will we see d5? We do, amazing. So we take this pawn here, d5 is the best move, and after queen takes, knight, oh, it can't go to c3, a3, knight a3. Preparing knight b5, as simple as that. Blunders here, very common blunders from black, include the very intuitive, I feel, knight f6, which is why I play this. A lot of people will play knight f6 here. Also e6 is not great. What did I tell you? Knight f6, knight b5 here, and the evaluation is something like plus 2.3, plus 2.4, I believe. It will depend on the engine, but as you can see, I'm on Lichess today. My elo is a little low for a Lichess rating, I think, as in a little low to where I'd expect it to be. But I have been trying to refresh my repertoire with the looking at Lichess. You know, I'm sure that's going to spark some controversy in the comments. However, Eric Rosen uses Lichess, so Lichess it is for now. We're going to probably see knight takes pawn, or we're going to see knight e5. Those are generally the two moves that people play here. The point is that if knight takes pawn in this line, I'm still very much in preparation, by the way. Okay, well, if knight takes pawn, then we play queen takes, and after queen takes, knight c7, king d8, and then we win back to queen, so we get a knight for a pawn. Now here, we play bishop f4, to which I think black will play knight fd7. The point being that we're attacking this knight, and if the knight moves, then we're obviously going to fork here on c7. So, you know, move 11, still very much in preparation. This is a, there we go. Now move 12 with knight f3, still very much in preparation. Point being that if knight takes here, we play queen takes, obviously because it comes with check here. And it's just impossible to stop this, really. If you try and play e5 to intercept, we can take en passant with this pawn here on d5, and we open up the same threat again. So you actually can't really take this. Unfortunately, black does, but we take with queen, and now we're going to see that this is not possible to prevent, really. Currently, knight here would actually force the only legal move of queen takes c7, giving up the queen for a knight. So I'm sure black can do better than that here, but, you know, move 13, completely winning position. And yeah, we will convert it from here, but some lovely preparation. Look, again, they tried e5, as I said. We take en passant. Now we're hitting the knight. We're threatening this as well. There's just absolutely nothing to be done. If pawn takes here, we'll go check, and then king e7 or king f7, one of the two. Just wondering if queen h5 is a move, but g6, and I don't think we have anything from there. So I'm going to give this check now. Obviously the d6 check is held here, but yeah, completely winning. This makes no sense actually, because then I can do some kind of discovery. Although knight f6 would stop that actually, but I think we will probably see king e7. Actually, should I look at bishop g5 for either move? Hello, bishop g5. You have to play knight f6, otherwise you lose your queen. And I guess I can take the rook, but it would be very cool if I didn't have to. I think I should probably take the rook. Check, knight f6. No, I think I'm going to take the rook now, with the idea to play rook d1, pinning the knight to the queen, threatening bishop g5, or maybe even bishop g5, knight f6, and then rook d1. I'm not sure. I guess I'll consider that when the time is more appropriate to do so. b6 could be a move, but again, there's also problems that this pawn might hang. We see very interesting move here. I've just been prompted to play bishop g5 check. We have to see knight f6 here, otherwise the queen is lost. There we go. And now what are we going to do? Well, I was considering rook d1. Don't see a problem with rook d1. I mean, the queen actually, funnily enough, can't go to any of these squares. And if rook d1, queen a5 is my only concern. Because there's a threat. There's not even a threat of taking there because my queen holds it. You know what? Let's play rook d1. Bring the rook to the open file with tempo on the queen. The knight holds both of these squares. So the queen's probably going to have to... I mean, maybe queen a5 gets played. Fair enough, but I mean, this is not a threat. I can probably play bishop c4 to hold on to these squares. Oh my days. This is brutal, to say the very least. I think playing this is quite useful, generally because I can also castle and then bring a rook to the e-file, which is of course something I'd like to do. Currently I'm 4 points of material up, so I don't want to be a little careful. Let's just go for this though. Bishop c4. There are no checks. This pawn is held. No checks in black's position at all. This bishop has no legal moves. The knight has no legal moves. The rook has g8, but obviously doesn't because it just hangs. Not even for the bishop because the knight's still pinned. So rook, bishop, knight can't move. I mean, what is going on here? Yeah, so obviously this bishop now moves. Do we take? Most likely, although that does unpin the knight. Actually, we have queen takes b7, which without a doubt is a good move. Oh, look at that. Just queen takes b7 there, cutting this line. If the king comes off the bishop, we can take the bishop. Yeah, this is just going to be checkmate very, very soon. The bishop comes back, but the knight's actually pinned, so the knight does not protect the bishop. So we can play queen takes here with a beautiful little checkmate there. The queen cutting all these lines, holding every square there. Ooh, what is going on? And then the knight is obviously pinned. Very nice checkmate from some very thorough preparation. So let's take a little look at the analysis. Okay, here we are in the analysis. It is the next day because I was too lazy to do the analysis last night. However, this is looking very promising as it says 0 inaccuracies, 0 mistakes, 0 blunders, and a 17 average centi-pawn loss. So I'm planning on making a video explaining what centi-pawn loss means as I settle into using Lichess. So, you know, look forward to that if you're a little confused on the matter. But effectively, 17 is very strong, as you'll see when I make this video. So, let's go through the game. e4, we see c5 here. Let's just turn off the eval for the book moves. a3 here, the Mengarini Sicilian, and then knight c6. So, as all of you know who are familiar with my channel, b4 here. This is just such an interesting way of playing. 3 pawn moves in the first 3 moves, making this sort of flank attack. This is called the Sicilian Mengarini. I think sometimes referred to as a wing gambit as well, because obviously this is the sort of wing, and you are gambiting this b pawn. So we see takes, knight takes, the accepted gambit, c3, moving the knight back. The knight has to go to c6, really. I mean, the only other place where it doesn't hang is a6, and why are you going to do that to yourself? Oh, sorry about that. And after knight c6, d4. We've claimed the full centre here, and you know, it's a supported full centre. We've got very open bishops, very easy development for this knight in particular. This knight may have some problems, but as you saw in the game, after d5 striking at the centre and this exchange, knight a3 is again part of my preparation in order to set a little trap. So again here, the best move, queen a5. Setting yourself up for not one, but after bishop d2, you know, 2 discoveries onto the queen. I've always thought this is an extremely counterintuitive move. I don't even think grandmasters would look to play this unless they'd actually seen the opening before. I could be completely wrong there, but queen a5, I've never had it played against me, and I've played this opening hundreds of times, as in this exact line, I think something like 80 odd times. Never seen the best move here. Often, however, have seen knight f6. Not a good move. And as you can see, let's turn the engine on now. Knight b5 punishes this immediately. So, going in for c7 here, ready to fork. Best move, actually, to realise that this is that potent, which is very hard to do, I think, if you haven't seen the opening before. And if you've seen the opening before, you're not going to play knight f6 here. So, I've, again, never seen someone play king d8 here to prevent this fork. Very, very often, queen d8, response d5. Again, I was saying I'm completely in my preparation. And yeah, knight e5, and it's about +5 on the eval bar already. If knight takes, I'll just quickly show this line. Knight takes, queen takes, and if queen takes, then we go knight c7, king d8, and knight takes the queen here. And so we gain the knight for the pawn. We've got a very active position, open a file, you know, just knight f3, probably bishop b5, c4, d3, none, doesn't really matter. We're just going to win this game very easily, or hopefully very easily if my endgame technique proves to be solid, which recently it has not been. However, we see knight e5 here, which I think is the other sort of intuitive move. You need to move this knight or take the pawn, basically. And if you're moving this knight, you've pretty much got to move it to e5. But then after that, bishop f4, again, still in prep. The knight drops back, knight f3, and yeah, here the best move, f6, and I think I may have explained in the game, although I am recording the analysis a bit later, so forgive me if this is wrong. But after here, we take with bishop, and if knight takes, then we play knight takes, pawn takes, queen h5, g6, and take here. And there's the threat of taking this rook, as well as forking here on c7. That's effectively by force if knight takes after bishop takes. But if the f-pawn takes here, then we actually go knight g5, and it's extremely hard to stop this kind of idea, doubling up the knight's attack on c7. The best move for black being knight c5, and you can play queen f3 as well to threaten checkmate. But yeah, this is a really cool position. This is sort of where my prep goes up to, this position. However, my opponent did not play f6 and instead took this knight. Then we take with queen, and as I explained, this is now just a completely dominating threat. I mean, if you play something like g6, for instance, knight here actually smothers the king, and so they'd be forced to take with queen. You know, the computer's saying a6 is the best move, which does in fact, sorry about that, does in fact lose the queen, because then after knight c7, the only move would be to take with queen. But black goes for this, but as I said, en passant, and the threat's back on. Pawn takes, we give a little check now, but at least here, the king's now got somewhere to run. And castling queenside would have been playable here, which I will keep in mind, because if I ever get this line again, that would be so funny. Best move, rook d1 with +11 eval, but if I castle queenside, it's still completely dominant. The rook ends up on d1, which is the main purpose. And I think the point is that you're threatening bishop g5, and there's no knight f6 to block and prevent the loss of the queen, because then the queen would hang anyway. So I think I'll castle queenside just for the sort of novelty of it next time in this position. But I went to just take this rook, still a very good move. The pawn goes here, check, knight f6, and I played rook d1 here. Again, all these moves keeping a lot of tempo here. Queen a5 is the best move, and what my opponent played is basically the only real move, given that these are held by the knights, and this whole file is held by the rook here. And like, what is queen e8? Then bishop c4, found the best move. Computers often like these restrictive moves. The king is now going to have nowhere to run, because I have a complete dominance over these light squares, as well as this file. And yeah, the king is getting hunted down. So bishop e6 looks like a good move, because you want to try and like get rid of this presence on the light squares. However, it does concede queen takes on b7, to which my opponent then blocks with bishop, but then there is queen takes d7 with checkmate, because the knight is pinned. Very, very cool checkmate here. And yeah, in 21 moves in a Mengarini Sicilian. Very cool. If the only other legal move, I believe, here, then we can just take the bishop, of course. And after, for instance, queen takes here with check, king f1, the queen has to go here because you just need to postpone mate. Bishop comes in here, then I assume, yeah, queen f7, king here. We can take this bishop, king goes here, and then, yeah, queen c7, checkmate. Let's just take it back to that. But yeah, we got, I mean, that would have been pretty cool, but I like our checkmate. My opponent gave me the opportunity to play queen takes d7, which looks very, very cool. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. But yeah, the Mengarini, it once gave me a video with 7,300 views, something like that. Can it do it again? I don't know. It can with the help of you guys, however. If you like, share, subscribe, share it to your family group chat. Tell them that you won't love them if they don't subscribe to Will Taylor Chess. It's perfectly viable strategy for subscriber gain. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.